Welcome to the Blackout broadcast. I'm your host, Mikey B. Got my two sidekicks, Jed and Sean. We're going to jump right into it with an update on solar weather and power outages across the United States. Sean, you want to hit us with some info?
Sure. Yeah, the recent solar activity looks pretty minor to medium. Reached its max levels due to that M1 solar flare recently, but looks like nothing crazy in the forecast either. About a 55% chance of M class and about a 5% of X class for the next 2 days. And that's pretty much it. So pretty low stakes there.
Not much to worry about here on Earth. That's a good thing. We'll take it. What do we got? What do we got
Plenty to
for?
worry about on Earth.
Yeah, seriously, that's a whole other topic. What do we got going on for rolling blackouts? It's dog days of summer are coming. Those ACs are blasting, and the grid is straining.
Absolutely. So this is the map, and anybody can reference this too. This is poweroutage.us to see this current map of power outage across the country. The two biggest states right now, well, the two most states that have the most outages are Oklahoma and Indiana. What about 50,000 plus in each state out, and then you got good old Michigan up there to the north, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and California.
Who's got the most out right now?
The most out right now is actually Oklahoma with 56,000.
Yeah, there's a lot of storms rolling through Oklahoma right now.
Yeah, just most of them are due to weather, heat, storms, and stuff like that. But in total, you're looking at over close to 230,000 between all those states combined.
They be sweating right now, that's for sure.
So if you live in one of those states, hopefully you got some kind of backup. If not, look into getting some. That's about it for the outages across the country as it is.
I mean, with all the outages that are coming due to the heat that's going to be hitting this country as we approach July and August, I want to do a shout out to my friends over at Energy. If you want to check them out, you can go to energytech.com. That's INERGYTEK.com. We highly recommend, if you're looking to get some portable power, that you jump into the Flex Tactical 1500. These systems are great because you can start out small. You can, for a low investment, you can get set up with a cheap solar panel and one of their Energy Flex stations, and you can actually add batteries to this as money frees up, tax returns come in, etc. Super easy to install, probably one of the easiest on the market to install yourself. Portable batteries, and I believe you can stack these batteries 10 high. You can start with one flex unit, a solar panel, and a single battery, and then you can build your bank from there. So again, shout out to my friends over at Energy. Real quick, just want to go over how necessary portable power is. Research report states that power outages from extreme weather are rising in the U.S. Since the start of the 21st century, the U.S. has experienced an increasing number of power outages caused by extreme weather events. According to a new report from Climate Central, as major outages continue to rise, water and wastewater utilities are encouraged to reassess their current preparedness efforts and work to enhance their power resilience. I know personally, I have a well, so if the power goes out, I need that tactical system to keep my pump running. Without that well pump, I got no water. So portable power is essential. And our friends at Energy are probably the fastest and cheapest way to get yourself set up with portable power generation very quickly. So check them out, and you'll definitely be happy with their product. So
yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, you checking it out right now? Yeah, that thing's cool, huh?
Yeah. Flex Tactical 1500. That thing is pretty mobile. It's just like the size of a cooler, basically.
The added piece to this, though, if you get the portable power, you got to get an EMP Shield unit. You can get that yourself at EMP Shield's website, empshield.com. You can use our promo code EMPPRO50 and save $50 off each item that you buy. Highly suggest protecting every piece of power generation, solar systems, you name it, with an EMP Shield device. Our sponsor at EMP Pro can totally hook you up with the turnkey package, provide and install all these systems for you. That's the easy button.
Is your home, business, and family vulnerable to a massive electrical disturbance? There is a simple solution that will protect you from the inevitable. Visit www.empro.com or call 833-EMP-PRO4 today.
If you're like, hey, I'm not electrical savvy whatsoever, you can give us a call. We always recommend hiring a licensed electrician. They give you a letter of attestation stating that the work was done by a licensed and insured contractor. You can give that to your insurance company, and you are fully covered in the event of any issues. So again, shout out to EMP Pro, empro.com, or give us a call at 833-EMP-PRO4.
I believe that model. Oh, never mind. I thought it came with
Why
the
don't-
EMP shield already in it, but
No, they don't. Why don't you pull that up real quick so they can see?
I like you can take it tailgating too.
Yeah, these things. It's the portable power generation.
That's pretty good. I mean, camping, that thing would be awesome.
oh yeah, it says EMP shield module sold separately.
Yeah, do you got that pulled up so the listeners can see it?
Yep.
Yeah, if you look at that picture there on the right, that unit on the left is it's basically a power strip. It's a EMP CME lightning protection general surge power strip that you can bring with you anywhere you go. Super easy to plug in. You plug that sucker in, and anything that's plugged into that is gonna keep all of your devices protected. And then if you look on the right, that's actually one of the solar units that plugs in, that protects the inverter in that unit, that actually takes the solar power and charges your battery. So both of those would be essential if you're using that portable power on the go. If you have it at your house, you can have it attached to the house, and it's protected off of the panel unit. But any solar, you definitely got to have the solar unit. That's this guy right here.
Yeah.
Shout out EMP Shield. You guys rock. All right. So what do you got any updates for us, Jed? What do you got?
I'm just checking out this 1500 energy flex tactical power station. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's legit, and it's sub-zero temperatures. It powers pretty much all your household items for up to 2 days.
It's great to have in your garage in the event that you need it. You can stick it in your RV. You go camping with it. It's just a really, really handy thing to have.
It really is. It's sub-zero temps. I really like that. It goes to -22 without reduced performance. That's
impressive.
Good, yeah.
That's impressive.
And then here's like you said, the panel protection right there.
Yeah, that's that portable power strip. But yeah, I mean,
like
dude,
that.
this report that I was just reading, they're saying that 58% of the power outages in the U.S. are caused by high winds, rain, and thunderstorms. Living here in Colorado, I mean, we can all attest to the high wind.
Yeah.
The wind gets wild out here. If you got power lines suspended overhead, those things, they come down with the wind out here. It's pretty serious. So again, the need for portable power generation is a must.
Nice.
So real quick, did you see that video, Sean, that I sent you about that wall that they found?
I did. I believe I have it up here.
Oh, in the ocean?
Yeah, talk about power going out. This video is wild.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, put that video up real quick.
This pilot from Yakutia captured something unbelievable. No one believed his words until they watched this video themselves. While flying over a mountainous area, he spotted a strange strip and followed it to find its end. To his shock, it was an infinitely long fence he had never heard of before. Even more mysteriously, on this wall to be continued at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, dividing the Earth into equal parts. Until recently, you could see this wall on Google Maps, but it seems to be disappearing from there. Divers say that at the base in some places there is severe destruction resembling explosions, and the height is uneven. But the scariest part is that ancient machinery-like artifacts lie at the base of these fences. I've published photos, facts, and official explanations that are trying to be removed from the internet on my main channel. Check the link in the profile description. This pilot from Yakutia captured something unbelievable.
pretty wild.
No one
Yeah,
believed
that
his
they're removing his posts.
Yeah, I mean that's some deep stuff. They talked about ancient machinery. I wonder if those guys had EMP shields on there. Ancient tractor or something.
I'm sure they were probably the ones creating the EMPs. I'm sure. Who knows?
That's wild though. Finding a wall that was obviously built by something intelligent, definitely wasn't human.
Why would they build it to quarter up the planet?
We're going to have to dive down that rabbit hole because this is a whole new video. I was in scroll land. We all get stuck in scroll land, right? And some of the stuff that comes up is just wild. So watch this and just brings all of the ancient stuff that we hear about Atlantia and Lemuria and all of that wild history about other intelligent races being here. You gotta think all of this weather that we're experiencing. They want to tell us it's caused by humans and cow farts. I don't believe it. It's definitely some kind of natural cycle that the planet goes through, and I could talk about that for days. I mean, water displacement theory. Dive into the Annunaki and planet Nibiru, dwarf star. It's all relatable. So I believe that what we're experiencing right now is just a natural cycle that the Earth's been going through, but it just increases why we have to insulate systems. I mean, where they're finding civilizations underwater. I mean, off the coast of Japan, under like 300 feet of water, they got this pyramid. It looks like your typical Egyptian pyramid, but it's made entirely of green jade. They said the thing's worth a few $1 trillion.
Damn.
That's worth it to bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd go and chisel
by
away
piece.
at it. Yeah, right. Start making little necklaces out of it.
That'd be cool. Well, most of those pyramids have something underneath it, like some kind of like tomb or like chamber, right? So have they looked into if there's anything underneath it or
In the
buried
Great
in it?
Pyramid of Giza, there's a chamber that they have yet to open that goes underground with underground facilities and it just spreads out across Egypt. I mean, if you look at us today, they call it DUMBs, deep underground military bases, where there's entire cities underground. I mean, during COVID, there was reports that Moscow did an evacuation of the entire city and put like 2 million people underground within 3 hours into one of these DUMBs, deep underground military base. So
That's wild. I wonder what the real estate is like that down there. How much for a condo in one of those dumb
$1 billion
For
$1 million?
700 square foot bunker.
The movie The Day After Tomorrow, when they're like, if you didn't get a ticket, those crazy land ships they made in
Oh
Tibet.
yeah.
Like,
So you got to
Like a lottery or something,
Yeah.
right? You get to win a lottery.
oh man, I don't know.
yeah, you got to wonder, is Hollywood trying to tell us something?
That movie
Well,
was that same thing with that movie Greenland. I think it was with
yeah.
like Clive Owen or someone. like
That
I
movie
forget-
was
forget if it was
wild.
Clive Owen or not, but-
That movie was wild. I mean, if you want to go biblical, the Bible says the earth will first be destroyed by water. I guess that's Noah, and then destroyed by fire. I mean, I really hope Elon pulls it off and like finds a way to deflect these friggin' asteroids. And
Fire would be a bad one. I mean, would you rather face a huge amount of water or fire?
Neither.
I feel like I mean
Neither.
obviously neither, but
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, when it comes to fire, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like something big wave comes in, eventually settles, goes back, and then like massive destruction. But fire is just everything's gone off the
big
surface.
fiery rocks falling from the sky and just effing up everything.
Yeah, like if you see like big wall of water coming at you or a fire, I'd rather just take the hit with the water and just roll with it. I mean, Noah did it. He just built a big ass boat. There's no boat
Yeah.
that like fireproof boats that I know of, anyways.
I don't know if you could fit the ark on the deck in your apartment building. I don't know if
Yeah.
that would work.
No, I'll just I'd chill on the rooftop and just take it like a man. Face it, right on, and just be like, let's all right, it's over. Nothing I can do about it.
You just kiss your own ass goodbye. But speaking of water, they were talking about it on the Rogan show. So if you look at Africa on the northeast section of the continent, right on the coast, there's these ripples you can see from space. And the scientists have done like studies on it that it's actually from water coming in and then receding off the continent. Like a giant 1,000-foot tidal wave just slapped it.
That was similar to like that Younger Dryas thing that I forget. I think it was Graham Hancock. I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was on the Rogan podcast, and they would same thing like from aerial footage from high up, and this was like within the continental United States, like up like near like Wyoming, that area. When that huge glacier was there, or like back in the Ice Age or whatever it was. There was supposedly this guy who claimed that there was some kind of event that rapidly melted all that, glacial ice, and it created like this, huge amount of water that came, rushing around, and it did the same thing, like very similar to what you were explaining. Like it created like those little eddies and those little waves like that you see that only can happen when like there's just a massive amount of water rushing over an area. It kind of makes like those ripples in the earth.
Just like you see at
And
the
then
beach.
they would find like in these pools, like all these fossils, like, dinosaurs or whatever, they're all grouped together. Like they're talking about animals that would never coexist with each other, right? Like you're talking like mammoths and like saber-tooth and like predators and herbivores, but they're all washed into like this pocket that naturally they would never exist, like live and die in the same spot, right?
Like they got
so there's
swept
only
up.
like they got swept up and like dropped into like these little pockets.
And
So I
then,
just thought that was always super like really interesting. It's like it makes sense, I guess, right? And it's like what other kind of way would you flash boil miles of glacial ice? It would have to be something catastrophic, like something kind of hitting the earth and just, you know what I mean? Like that big flash of energy and heat and just melt it all.
big solar flash, maybe big
Good, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
kill. They call that the kill shot. Definitely, no EMP shield is going to save you from a kill shot,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and those dinosaurs were a tough bunch. I mean,
So
yeah, the alligators are still around. Those were technically dinosaurs.
they just probably got froze somewhere and then thawed out and started walking
Yeah.
around again. But speaking of EMP shield, and I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor at EMP Pro.
Is your home, business, and family vulnerable to a massive electrical disturbance? There is a simple solution that will protect you from the inevitable. Visit www.empro.com or call 833-EMP-PRO4 today.
And we're back. I'd like to thank EMP Pro for the giveaway that they did at the Tanner Gun Show. I think we gotta announce that winner, don't we? We gotta do that. Today is Monday, July 1st. Time to announce our lucky winner of the EMP Pro Total Home Package.
Nice.
Are they ready for it?
Who do we got? Pull a winner.
It is John Boone.
Boone.
Mr. Boone.
Mr. Boone.
You have won the EMP Pro Tanner Gun Show giveaway.
Yeah.
Someone from our team will reach out with a text and an email. You have 7 days, Mr. Boone, to get back to us. If we don't hear from you, we're going to have to pull another winner. So this is a really generous giveaway from EMP Pro. This includes all of the material, full turnkey install, the letter of attestation stating that a licensed electrical contractor did the work. So Mr. John Boone, we'll reach out to you. Please get back to us as soon as you can. We'd love to get you scheduled ASAP, get you protected with some cool EMP Shield products.
Time's a ticking, Mr. Boone.
7 days starts
7
now.
days.
Hopefully we hear from you by Sunday. But yeah, it's wild, man. All of the technology and cameras everywhere. I mean, people are just finding all kinds of wild stuff. I love the fact they said ancient machinery. I wish they would have shown more shots of that. That's going to be hard to get. That stuff's going to get pulled down right away. But like, what are we talking? What kind of ancient machinery do they got down there? Big old excavators, or what do they got?
Some Star Wars stuff down there.
Seriously, but you were saying like what would cause a wave like that? There's all of this information out there. Very hard to find depending on what platform you're using. Obviously, the algorithm on Google is blocking a lot of information from coming out. But I remember in college, I did this report and freaked everybody out in the class. You should have seen their faces. Even my teacher, they're looking at me like, I hope that this is some sci-fi crap that you just pulled out of your butt. But in 1983, CNN had a news article about how they found a 10th astral body, which they believed was a dwarf star. And a little fun fact about sister stars is 70% of every star you see in the sky is what they call a binary star system, meaning you got two astral bodies, two suns with their own objects orbiting each other in this celestial dance of fireballs. And if you dive down the rabbit hole, this dwarf star has this planet that they call Nibiru, this large planet that orbits it. And one of the theories is that when this thing comes through, the gravitational pull between Nibiru and Earth is so intense because Nibiru is so much bigger than Earth that Nibiru actually locks planet Earth in a gravitational just hold where the Earth literally stops spinning for 3 days. And if you think about what happens, like if you ever, as a kid, if you ever took a small bucket of water and spun it around, the water stays in the bucket. But if you stop spinning that bucket, the water comes out. Now, if you think about the Earth spinning at, what is it, like 800 something miles per hour, if the Earth stops spinning, the water is going to slough up on the west coast of every continent on the planet, just all of a sudden.
Do you think that's what happened during the Noah thing? Was that the only way to get a wave big enough to do that?
To get a wave 1,000 feet plus that could crash into a continent like Africa and leave those marks on the land. I mean, it sounds legit.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean that's some wild stuff right there. But and we'll dive into this as we get into other shows. We'll kind of pepper it in, maybe have a full episode just talking about that subject. It's just really cool information. That rabbit hole is very wide and very deep. And as that guy was saying on the video, they're taking the information down. That says there's got to be some validity to it if they're removing it from the web, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's saying here that if the Earth stopped spinning, it'd be catastrophic damage. Almost 1,000 miles per hour is at its fastest, which is close to the equator. So, I mean, even for 1 second, it would be catastrophic damage. So, I mean, that's crazy. It's spinning 1,000 miles per hour close to the equator, man.
Well, what's wild is like the Mayans, for example, they talk about the 3 days of darkness. The Mayans, the Incas, the Hopi, all of these civilizations that we've unearthed, they talk about 3 days of darkness. And if you think about it, if the Earth stops spinning, you're going to have some parts of the planet that are in the dark for 3 days and other parts that are stuck in the light for 3 days, right? So there's always some truth attached to that lore, that legend string that people read about. I mean, even the Bible. So this dwarf star, the Bible references it as wormwood.
Yeah, right.
Wormwood.
Yeah. Exodus 10:21-29.
Exodus 10:21-29.
So they call them this
10 plagues. It's one of the 10 plagues.
is wormwood
So
that like dwarf thing that you were talking about? Is this their name for it?
That's the Bible calls it wormwood. Modern times we call it Planet X. And you know, what's really funny, I'm going to dive right down this. So what's really funny is you think about, we all talk about the algorithm. It's all about nailing your keywords to get that algorithm to find what you want, right? They downgraded Pluto. So if you had 9 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, if you take Pluto out of the mix, then it knocks the algorithm from Planet X, 10th astral body, to 9. So now when you Google Planet X, you really don't find that much if you're searching on Google. So kind of a tinfoil hat conspiracy deal, but I feel they knocked Pluto down a jack with the algorithm to make it harder to find information on Planet X.
Interesting.
It says NASA says hypothetical Planet X.
Yeah, that report I did in college. So back then you could Google the coordinates of this 10th astral body, this Planet X dwarf star, and on Google Space Maps there was this cropped out area where this thing was supposed to be, And the guys who did this didn't even Photoshop stars back in. So you got this backdrop of space with all of these little speckled stars everywhere. And then you just got this rectangular black crop out. No, there's nothing to see here, folks.
No one's gonna pick up on that.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So hypothetical. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it says technically it's never been discovered. Planet X has
Technically?
not yet been discovered, and there's a debate in the scientific community whether it even exists.
What's the size of this? I mean, are we just assuming that Pluto is planet X, or no? Or is it something completely different from Pluto?
They dubbed Pluto to be too small to be a planet, so they're calling it a moon now. So
But
that's just I just threw a theory.
Okay.
Yeah,
out
this would be
there.
Planet 9, right? Planet X would be the
Planet
ninth
9
planet.
by downgrading Pluto.
Yeah.
So that's just my tinfoil hat theory on they did all of this to block
It's
the
quite
algorithm.
controversial. Yeah, they still haven't agreed whether it's real or not.
But CNN did an article that you could find when I was in college back in 2012, 2013. You could find this, and there was an article on YouTube. It was a YouTube clip with CNN talking about it, and they talked about it for about a year, like all through 1983 into 1984, and then it was like media blackout. Nobody was talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
So a point of all of it is what's happening with space weather and the weather changing here on Earth. It's not cow farts. It's not. I mean, pollution is bad, absolutely. However, the change is happening so quick that I believe it's due to just a natural cycle of the Earth. They want to say that humans are causing the ocean levels to rise. That's a bunch of boo hockey. Ocean levels have been rising and falling since planet Earth first came to pass.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is.
So yeah, I'm looking up at this hypothetical planet X. This is on actually NASA's site. It says Caltech researchers have found mathematical evidence suggesting there may be a planet X deep in our solar system. It's the size of Neptune, so that's a lot bigger than. Isn't Pluto's tiny, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Neptune's a good size, is it not?
One of the listeners here, I'm sure this group watching this, at least half of you have heard of or have some information to share on Planet X. Would love some comments. So hit like, subscribe, drop some comments if you've heard of Planet X, Nibiru, if you got any information on it. We'd love to get a discussion going in the comments section about this.
Oh, it's funny. They're calling it Planet 9.
Yeah, look at that. See, there's a little bit of truth to my algorithm theory.
10 times the mass of Earth. Wow. So it's on an elongated orbit far beyond Pluto, but it still orbits the sun.
Well, that's because that planet is orbiting its own dwarf star. So it has its own star that's holding it in place because you need a star in order to orbit, right? A planet needs a star so it can orbit.
Well, wouldn't the sun? I mean, it says it's orbiting the sun. Would that not be what it's?
Well, you got two suns orbiting each other, each with their own astral bodies around it. So we'll get some information here for the next episode, and we'll have Sean share the screen and show you what we have. It's hard to find the information that I had back in 2012, 2013. The only piece
you still have that paper though, right? You still have it?
I still have one hard copy of that report. And here's the crazy thing, right? So I had that whole PowerPoint saved on a thumb drive, and it was there for a long time. And I plugged it into my computer. I opened the file and I printed this hard copy that I have. And then about a month or two later, I went back to that thumb drive, and the PowerPoint was gone. It was completely taken off my thumb drive.
Too much real information, maybe?
Yeah, it's nobody wants to tell the truth. So it's just a crazy subject. So you think about it, right? So we have all these religious books all over the planet, all these different religions, and there's always a common denominator about these end times events. And we just watched that video that they found this wall that spans across continents and under oceans with ancient machinery at the base of it. So, I mean, for me, that's telltale proof that there was other civilizations. They talk about ancient Lemuria and Atlantia. So if there was this intelligent species here before us, they knew something, and it was like put into religion to kind of teach people in a parable kind of way of what they could expect as they move through the ages.
Oh, we're definitely not alone. I mean, the Pentagon released information of communication and footage in 2020. You guys remember that when they said, "Oh yeah, there is proof of
Yeah, during COVID, they're like,
extraterrestrial existence"?
they're
And
like,
we're
oh,
what?
by the way, here's a few hundred factual reports about extraterrestrial life, and you had people running around. They better fucking wear masks.
Yeah, it
Worried about the
just went
alien
right over
food.
the head there. Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's so worried about wearing masks and what bathrooms to use, they didn't want to
maybe
talk about the aliens.
maybe that's why X is so hard to see. Maybe that's where they're at. You never know. Like, I mean, if we're not alone, they're definitely on to us. I guarantee that.
Well, then, and you can dive down the creation theory. I mean, you can jump down that rabbit hole. Created in God's image, created with a mixture of genetics. I mean, at our labeled 6,000 years of existence, we've mastered the genome. We have the ability to take the genome and we can choose eye color, hair color, gender,
Yeah.
muscle density, make that petri dish person free of disease. Uh, I'm like, I want to just get on
A
a
super
roll.
race, right?
Yeah, it's a super race created in a petri dish. But the way that they do it with genetics is they literally use chemical splicing. So they take the genome with this high-powered microscope, and they have these super sharp needles where the tip of the needle is literally invisible to the human eye, and they use chemicals to splice the gene. They have one chemical that cuts the genetics, and then another chemical that's a glue that glues the genetics back together.
Like fuses them.
It fuses it together, and the scar of the genetic splicing stays visible through reproduction. It stays as a marker within the DNA infinitely through the generation. So when they look at the human genome under a microscope, you can tell if it's been genetically spliced because it under a microscope it literally leaves scarring. And there's a way to do it clean, just like when you do anything. You can do it really, really good, or you can do a hack job on it. And when you look at the human genome under a microscope, it's very sloppy. It was done very quick. And if you look at some of the key indicators that were removed, the super strength of like a gorilla, that piece was removed. The intelligence was knocked down. So I mean, we could dive down the rabbit hole of this all day. I got a head full of information. I could do a few weekend seminars. I'll give you free popcorn.
So it means like they basically wanted to create something like that couldn't, you know, basically like fight them or be smart or as smart or smarter than
Yeah, so the benefits basically it allows rearrangement of different blocks of the RNA. So defective RNA can be replaced with healthy versions able to produce functional proteins to fight cancer, fix genetic diseases, or increase, athletic ability, muscle tendency and retention, mental retention and capacity, so on and so forth.
I
But
mean, why wouldn't they want us to be a little bit stronger? That would probably make the work a lot easier.
Well, if you think about it, if you were creating a biological organism as a Naktu Nanu, Egyptian for worker slave, you want them to be smart enough to follow instruction, carry out tasks, but not too smart or too strong where you could revolt, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So when the genetic splicing thing is wild. I mean, when you're reading something, for example, like the Christian Bible, like they took the clay of the earth and created people. Well, you think about the knowledge level of humans back in that day. I mean, if you sat down with them and you tried to say, "Hey, I got this smartphone where you can access this World Wide Web and you can talk to people anywhere in the world," they'd probably burn you at the stake. They think you were insane. It's just the understanding wasn't there. So these religious books were written with parables. So they took the clay of the earth and created people. Well, the clay of the earth could be all the tools, the genetic tools needed to put something together, right? It's just
Well, the actual raw materials.
it's just a way to describe a process in very, very simple terms that people of that time would kind of understand. I feel there's too much mysticism and magic per se behind the way that the Bible is viewed. It's viewed through a lens. Like when they talk about God, right? God in the Bible is described as a physical being that sits on a physical throne and commands physical legions. I think of Star Wars, freaking Star Trek. You got this dude rolling up with this ship half the size of the planet, and he's considered a god because he's commanding these legions. It's the magic has to be taken out of it, and you got to look at it through actual physical events that happened to put people here. There's a whole process that was actually happened. That's where the petri dish comes in, right? To me, it's wild. You dive into the Bible, they talk about all these different parables to explain how people got here. I won't get in. I want to start now, but we'd be talking here for another 30 minutes if I dive
We
down.
can,
this
yeah.
rabbit
It's
hole.
not, I mean, we can make part 2 of this, and maybe even part 3, 4.
Yeah, on the next episode, if this is interesting to all the people watching right now, all you viewers and listeners here, if this is something you're interested in and you'd like to hear us talk about it more and put some stuff up on the screen so you could see, drop some comments in the comments section and tell us what you think. If this sounds interesting and you want us to dive down this rabbit hole and explore all the offshoots, I mean, me personally, I love this. I could talk about this all day. Sean and Jed have been trying to get me to talk about this for a few weeks now. I've been a little hesitant. I'm not sure how people feel about it, but if you like what you hear, you want to hear more, drop a comment and let us know what you think. We'll review the feedback, drop you some comments back, and if it's a win, we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, and we'd love for anybody too that wants to would like to be a member of the podcast, come on as a guest, and you have any knowledge about this stuff or just would like to chime in, shoot us a message and we can probably set something up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then, so again, Blackout Broadcast. You can find us on YouTube, Blackout Broadcast, and hit that like button, subscribe. And then before we go here, I'd like to give one more shout out to our sponsor, EMP Pro. You can visit them on the web at empro.com or give the team a call at 833 EMP Pro 4.
Is your home, business, and family vulnerable to a massive electrical disturbance? There is a simple solution that will protect you from the inevitable. Visit www.empro.com or call 833-EMP-PRO4 today.
And again, Mr. Boone, you got 7 days to get back to us. This is a really cool giveaway. We'd be happy to install this for you. Really cool stuff. You'd be able to tell all your neighbors you're totally protected from CMEs, EMPs, lightning, and general surge protection.
John Boone, that's for you. 7 days starting today.
So anybody got anything else to drop
Yeah,
some
well, I wanted
knowledge?
to touch base on Star Wars for a second. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've watched every Star Wars since I was like a child. I mean, I had the Star Wars action figures and like the Millennium Falcon and like, you know, the Speedster and like love Star Wars. The Acolyte, the newest Star Wars, is horrible. It is.
I haven't seen it.
It is woke bullshit.
Woke Star Wars.
yeah,
That's where we're headed.
It's literally, I was like, what'd you do and why? I mean, they took the Jedi and they made it like a man-dominated order, like where women have to come save everything. It's just go back to the original Star Wars. I mean, come on, don't ruin this, please. It sucks. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments as well.
Star Wars. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.